Welcome to Tribulation 515, 2011. We have reached day 816. And that day in and of itself, 8 is 4 plus 4, 44, 16 is 4 times 4, 4444. So the number adds up to a day of carnal man, three-dimensional thinking. Today is August 8th, 2013. So August 8th, that's 8/8/2013. We're only 3 days away. 3 days. See, I've injured my pinky, man. I'm coming off of the injury's over here. See, right there, my pinky. Cut a tendon. Hurts like heck. Can't bend it. See, only bends that much. But we're 3 days away from 8/11. 8 times 11 is 88. Mind fast. The rest of the United States is under this heat wave and under just rainstorms, thunder and lightning, flooding. The extreme weathers around the globe. I think it's over there in Vietnam, man. The whole country's getting ready to just slide off into the ocean. They've had so much rain. But here in San Jose, California, we're going on like our 4th, 5th, 6th consecutive day of overcast mornings where it's actually cold. And today, there was a huge, dark storm cloud, tons of them, on the eastern horizon as the sun rose, blocking out the sun. I kind of take it as a sign, my friends, on Suspicious Observer's report for today, he opens up talking about Espirits, which are these like energy type things in the upper atmosphere. Nobody really knows exactly what's going on with those things. But yesterday afternoon when I was down at the school, that's exactly what I was thinking about, is I was looking at the clouds that were coming out of the east, because the way the wind's been swirling here in San Jose, we got stuff coming up from like LA or whatever, and then it's kind of going out into the west. But the clouds look like spirit clouds. That's where it's big and puffy, and then there's this like vapor trail that drops down. But I was looking up at those clouds, and I was thinking, spirits, spirits are rising. And then Suspicious Observers talks about spirits as he opens up his video today. Is it coincidental? Not really. There are spirits rising. There's darkness spreading, but there's also much light. There's a lot of chaos. The world continues to spiral downwards. There might be something dark coming up out of the abyss, out of the hole. And what is that? Well, look at this thing right here. Maybe that's chaos. Maybe that's what's coming up out of the hole. Anyway, I got this shirt for my birthday, man, but that guy's kind of crazy. He's like a Viking with a big old axe. There's a movie coming out, Percy and the Sea Monsters, and Percy is kind of short for Perseus. And of course, on the last Tribulation, I talked about all the signs in the skies, Perseus, Cassiopeia, Andromeda, the dark side of marriage. All that's in play, my friends. And once again, Suspicious Observers in his report today, a huge CME blast from, I think, a filament. It wasn't from a sunspot. Blasted off last night, and will be hitting us probably on around the 10th. There's so much energy and power, and the solar winds are just going crazy. The whole solar system is in flux, my friends, including this planet that we live on, Earth. And it's all reflective of what's going on right now in 2013. And you know what? If you haven't been here before, this is my personal witness and testimony to the tribulation that is literally unfolding right in front of my very eyes. And if you're watching it today, that means that maybe you've woken up and said, oh my God, what the heck's going on? So God bless you, man, because better to know what's going on than to be living a bubbleized existence, where everything in your life is okay and you're not aware of anything beyond your bubble. But if you're living in a bubble, hey, God bless you too, man, But Suspicious Observers, on the backside of the sun, the coronal hole of coronal holes, the mother of all coronal holes, is rotating around to Earth view. And Suspicious Observers has used terms like apocalyptic. Today he used the word a leviathan of a coronal hole. And, I'd have to go find what video I mentioned it in, but I will look back in my Tribulation videos. But I have one that's called Black Hole Sun, where I talk about what if the whole sun became a huge coronal hole. And that may be literally what's unfolding in front of us, my friends. Now, yesterday's video on Operation End Times, we've been doing Mind Fast, and it's been mind-blowing as well. But in the About section, I referenced Joel 22, and I referenced several verses, but one of them talks about, and in the Bible it's mentioned several times, the sun going dark and the moon not giving her light. And I tell you what, my friends, something gets released, something that holds us back is removed, so some might say, it's maybe the Spirit of God that is no longer in play holding people back, our consciences. So people who are evil or dark inside, they just completely manifest and turn into like one of these kind of crazy things, Excuse me. But if we look around the world, it's a mess. The Middle East, the United States has shut down all of our embassies. They're celebrating the night of power. And I've been talking on Mind Fast about the void, the darkness. Egypt is in a complete meltdown. Syria, complete meltdown. Pakistan, a complete meltdown. On the verge of complete chaos and societal chaos. Yeah, there's no other way to explain it. And then, of course, we got our glorious president, Barack Obama. God bless him, man. He needs God's light more than ever. So we should all pray that God just somehow pours out his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But, I have my doubts on whether Obama is connected through his icon, his third eye, to the heavenly circuit. I think he's more connected to his iPhone. And, in today's news on, I think it's on the Drudge Report, but it could be on the Fox News side, talks about the iPhone, the death of the iPhone that's being replaced by the Android. The cloud, the Android, the smartphone, which is actually making us all dumb idiots. And Obama thinks we're all idiots, because he doesn't give press conferences, he doesn't come out and tell us what the heck's going on with all these embassies being shut. He leaves us all in the dark. But he goes on Jay Leno, and makes jokes about everything he's doing. Makes light of it, And on Mind Fast, I talked about people who reject the light, and they make light of it, too. So, Jay Leno, you scramble his letters of his name, and it kind of spells out one jelly. Not exactly, but kind of, But if you ask me, Jay Leno, it fits him, one jelly, because he makes you laugh like a bowl full of Jell-O. And, Jay Leno and David Letterman, that's where the spineless, those who have spines of jelly, go when they're afraid to face the music and the light of truth from the press. And so that's where our glorious president is, the one who leads from behind. He was on Jay Leno, pulling the wool over our eyes, too. Another article I read, the U.S. government, the military, the guy that Obama selected to run the military. Let's see if I could pull up his name real quick. God, I don't have it, but he made a ruling now where in the military for the homosexuals that they have to get married to get the health benefits, So once again, the dark side of marriage, and I'm not even talking about whether gay people should be married or not. It's the fact that they're being forced to be married just to get their health care. And I'll tell you what, my friends, that's part of my dark journey through marriage, because I was married, and unfortunately my marriage didn't work out, okay? I wanted my marriage to work out. I did not want my marriage to end. So I went into a hole of bitterness and angerness, and I was there for 3 years. It was horrific, But, I worked at Apple Computers in those days when I was married, and they were one of the most liberal-thinking companies. I've mentioned I knew Steve Jobs. I'm going to talk more about Steve Jobs and Job. They're both end-time men. But at Apple, they gave gay people, lesbians and gays, homosexuals, if you said you were gay, you could go down to the Human Resources Department and you could get your partner put onto your health care. Now me, I wasn't actually married in those days. It was right before I got married, and I was just living with my ex-wife, and life was good. I liked just living with her. I really didn't have a whole lot motivating me to go through the rigmarole and all the distortion vapors involved with marriage. You know, buying diamond rings, paying for a wedding reception, all the money, worry, and anxiety and dark negativity that goes into the glorious event we call a wedding, a carnal wedding. But, you know what? My ex-wife, she had all sorts of health problems, and I was paying for it out of the pocket because she wasn't on my health care plan at Apple. So I went down to the human resources department and I said, hey, I want to put my girlfriend on my health care. And they said, are you gay? You know, if it was your boyfriend, you could do that. And I'm like, well, I'm not gay because she's a woman and I'm a man. But I still want to put her on my health care. And they said, well, then, are you married? And I'm like, no, I'm not married. I don't have any reason to get married. Life is working out real good. We love each other. That's good enough. But guess what? The Human Resource Department said, well, if you marry her, then we can add her to your healthcare policy. So that, my friends, is the truth of the matter. And what the military is doing, forcing homosexuals to get married, to get healthcare, that's darkness too, man. Because the real truth of it is, if anything, healthcare, the Obama scare, that doesn't work, that's a big distortion. What they should have done is made what I would call the household plan, which is all people living under a household, they can all pool and get on the healthcare plan of whoever in that house has the best option for healthcare. And you don't have to be married or related or anything. Y'all just got to be living under the same house, meaning you're like a family unit underneath that roof. That would take all the sex and the darkness of the marriage ceremony out of people just being able to be healthy. But no, that's not what's going down. On the Al Jazeera website, they got at the top of the website, it says, and we talk about spirits rising, both spirits of light and spirits of darkness. At the top of their website, they had the title, The Rise and the Rise of Al-Qaeda. And the reason they said rise twice is because we know it already rose, in the 90s and in 2000 when Bush was fighting them. But our beloved President Barack Obama, after he personally shot, Osama, said, it's over. We've defeated him, But now we're finding out that that was all smoke and mirrors, man, And he didn't even shoot Osama himself, even though I'm pretty sure he's claimed that. It was SEAL Team 6, But, if we get far enough down the road, people have short memories. So if Obama keeps telling you that he personally shot Osama bin Laden, eventually that will be the truth of what we believe, because that's how distortions are working. But what we're also seeing is that, the war on terrorism, Al-Qaeda, all of that is still in play, and it's growing and it's stronger than ever. Which is sad. Finally, with this huge coronal hole rotating into position on the sun, there's also all sorts of diseases out there. There's these bird flu viruses, H7N9, which China just says can transmit from person to person. And they're known as coronal viruses, flus and colds. So it all kind of ties together, All right, that's pretty much it for Tribulation, day 816. There's a vibe in the air, my friends. Are we in for 3 days of darkness where we're really, the roller coaster's finally going down, And that's if you're hitched up, married to the carnal mindset, the darkness, the shadow path, all that stuff. That phony high tower, the towers that, through technology, power up the web and the internet and those iPhones, everybody being connected in. All that could be going down, Whereas if you're on the icon, the heavenly frequency, the kingdom of God, the light, while everybody else goes down, there'll be a path for you to come on back up and to get out of it all, if you haven't done it already. If not, go over to Operation End Times. Check out Mind Fast. Yeah, I don't know. That was pretty much it. Alright, this is Tribulation 515-2011. You know, I've said from the beginning, if you've been with me since day one, even here on Tribulation, I've said, get your mind right. Make sure you're looking at what's truly valuable, you know. And what I've recommended is don't build your castle, your high tower, based on greed, corruption, power, your own self-ego, your own spirit rising. You know, 88, you know, it's 11 in play. 11, 111, 911, you know, means creation, something being born, you know. Maybe this. You know, Jesus was supposedly born on 9/11. All Bible verses that reference Jesus as a baby being born add up, because Hebrew and Greek, it's all mathematical, but they all add up to, I think it's in the Old Testament, they all add up to 111. But when you multiply it out, 11 times 2 is 22. 22 is the master architect, Jesus Christ himself, the hand of God, you know, at work and at play. 33 is the human spine, the serpent, the spirit rising. You know, there's 33 vertebrae in your spine. And in the Bible, a spirit is represented by a serpent, a snake. And there's two snakes, my friends. You know, God's spirit is represented by a snake as well, a serpent. But there's the dark serpent, the dark snake, which could be your own spirit, or worse, some kind of evil spirit, an unclean spirit that's in there with you, man, that's got dominion over you, which would be truly sad. But 33, you know, is kind of like the path in life. You know, the dark side has 33 levels of ascension, you know. But even on the light side, you know, we've talked about the lone pine cone, the 153, the triple 51s, and the growth path becoming a tree and a functioning citizen of the kingdom of God, you know, a living lightning rod, you know, manifesting the glory of God. So there's parallels, man. Mirror images of everything is what's going on. That's why it's deception, and a lot of people can't see through the veil. But 44, you know, that's carnal man. That's the hand of man. 44444. You know, that's Thor. 444. You know, the demigod. You know, man, spirit rising, thinking that he can achieve perfection on his own. You know, 555, I'm going to say maybe that's salvation. You know, I'm not totally sure. 66666, most people think that's the number of man, and it is. But it's not evil, even though no number in and of itself is either evil or good. They have reflections on both sides. So some people would tell you Satan's number is 666. You know, and look at today, you know, day 8116. Well, 81 reversed is 18, which is 666, you know. But 66666, you know, in the Hebrew Bible is the word for righteousness. So 666 represents a fully illuminated man. But there's two kinds of men trying to get illuminated. The dark light man and the kingdom of God man, you know, who's actually, it's not his spirit rising, it's the spirit of God, of Jesus Christ, putting on the Christ head that is rising up into the temple, the high tower, the mind, you know. And that's why the mind fast is very important. Otherwise, your mind festering. And festering might be producing chaos in this thing, you know, those dark clouds. And, you know, when the hand of God drops down on earth, you know, for those that aren't walking in the light, man, it's fear, total fear, panic, anxiety. They're literally crapping in their pants. But it's funny because the dark side, that's what they love to use on everybody else, you know, is fear, anxiety, you know, and they want you to be crapping in your pants. That's why they keep making movies like Oblivion and Percy and the Monsters and Thor and the Avengers, because they want you to think all those movies have a similar theme where it's a human or a demigod, somebody with superpowers. You know, so that's the choice we have. You know, is your high tower super, like you think humans can be supermen? You know, the movie Superman just came out. Or are you on the side of the light where it's not about super, it's about supper? You know, sitting at the table with God and eating the wine, the water, and eating the bread of God, which is the knowledge and the wisdom that he pours out and gives out freely, you know, because the invitation went out to everybody. Just whether you made light of it and said, you know, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Spiritual, heavenly wedding, bridegroom? No. I'm down on earth having a carnal wedding, yeah. But 666, 777, you know, that's perfection. You know, Jesus' number is 77. You know, we're in the Jesus came in the 77th generation, and now we're in the 153rd generation. You know, which was once again, I talked about the lone pine cone and the triple 51. The moon mentioned 51 times in the Bible. You know, the cedar tree mentioned 51 times in the Bible. You know, I think it was teaching was mentioned 51 times in the Bible, and you know, learning, I think it was. You know, I'd have to check the video, but that's the trinity of growing in Christ as you walk the glory path for God, you know. But 888, you know, I think that's heaven on earth, man. Two worlds meeting, the two eights, you know, the mirror images, you know. One is the false promise with the false prophet, you know, telling you, hey, through your own mind, your own self-will, your own technology, we all as one, we can save the planet. Whereas if you look at the planet, it's on the verge of just complete, you know, I'm just going to say darkness and destruction. And why? Because it's fear, fear, fear. They're trying to scare us into all sorts of stuff. You know, the embassy's shutting down, and every day they tell us what we need to do to be safe and secure. You know, from letting them track us on our cell phones, our smartphones. You know, that's real smart, walking around with a phone. You're not only giving yourself a brain tumor and cancer, but you're letting them track you, and they can even snap a picture of you and record your voice on your phone. You know, so that's Big Brother, man. You know, it's worse than even when Steve Jobs made the commercial in the Super Bowl where the woman threw the hammer, you know, and I talked about the hammer of God, putting the beat down on the dark side, you know. It was Big Brother's face, but man, it's worse than even that commercial, you know, showed. And 999, you know, I don't know, I'd have to go refresh my memory, but I know the 8 and the 9 is the square and the circle. They're clashing, my friends, and, you know, everybody's got to figure out what side they're on, what path they're walking down. All right. Hey, God bless you all. You know, analyze where you are, what's valuable to you, where you are in your mind fast, and whether you need to be fasting things, you know, because that's kind of what it's about is, you know, cleansing your mind of things that you should not be thinking about. You know, the anxiety, the fear, trying to build up a pile of gold here on earth, you know, your 401k, the stock market, all this stuff. Flush it down the toilet, man. The whirlpool going the other way. Otherwise, you might be going that way too. Try walking the other way, and God will lead you that way. Not your own mind. God. Tap in with the icon to the heavenly circuit. All right.